Good morning, everybody. Welcome into my kitchen. Grateful that you will stop by and check out my video. Today I'm going to make a lemony caponata with eggplant to be canned. And so here, the recipe called for 6 cups of eggplant. I was gifted eggplant, so this is actually 12 cups. We're going to double that recipe. And into that recipe, you're going to put bell peppers, which will be 12 cups. So we're going to get the bell peppers in there. And we've got onions going in as well. I had diced those earlier. You know how I do it. I like to do the prep, because you know how to cut things. So we're gonna go ahead. We got that in there. I figured I better add some peppers that I had put up in the freezer. So I had vacuumed, obviously, sealed these. So we're gonna get these in there also. Okay, and into that also will go tomatoes. So I had tomatoes diced over here on my cutting board. So we're gonna go ahead and get the tomatoes over in there. And it was 6 cups, so we added in all these tomatoes, which will probably be 12 cups now. This is gonna be a lemony caponata, so this is gonna cook down for about an hour before we can even can it. So we got the tomatoes in there, and the recipe calls for us to come back and stir frequently. So the seasoning that's going in there is salt. So I'm going with it. Called for 2 teaspoons, but obviously we got all this. We need to do more than 2 teaspoons. So I did about 3. And then all this garlic powder, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that whole thing in there because it was also teaspoons of garlic powder. We love our garlic powder. We go in with oregano, so we're gonna go in with more than 2 teaspoons because of everything we got. And then we got pepper. Get that cracked off in there. And next I'm gonna try to get in with the spoon and just kind of try to stir it up. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this on about a medium heat. The recipe calls for bringing it to a boil, and then you keep stirring it constantly. And then we'll come back after we get it cooked down to where it needs to be. We'll continue to, go. We have other items that we need to add in, obviously, to this before it's completed and ready to can. But basically just trying to get this mixed down in here. And then I'm going to put a lid on. And again, like I said, bring it up to a boil. And then you keep stirring it and you reduce the heat on it. But that's where we're at with the lemony caponata. I've never had it before, but I love eggplant. And so I figured why not, because you don't have time to let things go to waste. So I try my best not to. And again, like I said, I was gifted these eggplant, and it was like a case of eggplant. It was enough to be shared, with my sister and myself. And so, preserving it. And I think I still have some left. So I think what's going to happen with that is I'm going to wash them real good, cut them in half, and get them in the oven to make baba ganoush to put in the freezer. So let me get cleaned up and we'll be back. Okay guys, so I'm back, and let me apologize. I just jumped right in and went to doing my thing and forgot to introduce Digitally Fit Fabulous here. Thank you for coming back into my kitchen. So we got the lemony caponata on. I had saw this chicken leg recipe, and it was quite, interesting that it was talking about splitting the chicken leg and kind of butterflying it. So I had some chicken legs, so of course I thought I'd try it. So you simply cut in and butterfly your chicken like this and let the meat fall back, and then this is the way you cook it. It cooks a little bit quicker, of course. It won't be fried. You can grill it this way or what have you. I'm just going to simply put it on a tray, because what's going to happen is I'll come back and I will end up air frying it, but I'm gonna season it. So you want to just take your chicken and you simply split into the leg, and then you kind of just go around the bone and let the meat fall, back from the bone, and that way you have it butterflied, and then you season it like that, and cooks quicker. And it's just an interesting way to do. So I will probably, you know, I think it is 6 here. So I'm gonna continue to pull the meat from the bone, and then I'll get it seasoned, as they say, with the usual suspects. And I'll probably cook it, air fry it, and then put it with some barbecue sauce. You know, after I get the meat cooked, then I'll go back in with the barbecue sauce and let it flavor the meat. And again, like I said, all you're doing is going in, actually splitting that meat back. And I always wash my chicken in vinegar. I'm not one of those people who does not wash my chicken. I was raised to wash it, and I just do not see taking meat straight out of the package and not, you know, washing it. I just don't see that. I can't do it, so, you know, but then, you know, this is my kitchen, my rules. You know, you guys can do how you want to do, but that's just me. My personal thing is I don't want to just pull chicken out and then be like, okay, let's go with it. So I hope you guys can see how I open them up. I'm gonna get in here and wash my hands, and I have dish water in my sink. And I always, when I put dish water in, I always have bleach in the dish water. While we're here, go back and stir our caponata. It's beginning to come up to a boil. Keep it stirred. It's gonna scorch on the bottom. Getting it stirred really well. Stirred, get back on that. Now we'll come back and we'll get the chicken seasoned. So we're gonna go in with some 14 blend seasoning. Get that seasoned up. Oh, and I forgot to do a step that I always do with chicken. My goodness. Just had a mess there. Anyway, I just want to go in with some spray to help the seasoning stick. And I'll do both sides like that. So we'll go back in with our 14 blend seasoning, get that seasoned up. And then we need to do garlic, which I need to refill my garlic container. I like to buy it in bulk and then keep it, and then just refill as needed. So go ahead, it's filled up. And we have a Costco's opening in our area, and can I say that I just can't wait. It's supposed to open, I believe, June 25th, and I am ready. So let's season up the legs. Going with onion powder, of course. Last, a bit of salt. Pink Himalayan is what I use. And that and Redmond's real salt. You want to season from high. Okay. And then we'll hit it with some black pepper. And then I'll just let these sit to the side in the fridge until I am ready to actually do them. I don't know yet what I want to put on the side to have with them, but yeah. I just can't just about out. Okay. So let's go in, and all you do is simply hit the back side with the seasoning. I never just season one side of my meat. That's just crazy. You season both sides. We're done with 14 spice. And then we'll go back in with garlic powder. Onion powder. And salt and pepper to complete. And then I'm going to go back and stir the carbonara. Pepper. Okay. Alright, so we're good with that. Set these to the side. Stir the carbonara. So we'll continue to keep the carbonara stirred. We're going to get the chicken covered. And then I'm going to go ahead and wash up these eggplants that are left so that I can go ahead and get them split and put in the oven, because again, we can make baba ganoush with that, which is a dip, an eggplant dip, and we can freeze that because we can't just take the eggplant and freeze it without doing some kind of cooking preparation to it, either blanching it and then, you know, putting it up, or, you know, cooking it and then freezing, or whatever you're gonna do. So we're gonna, like I said, get that washed up and we'll be back. Okay guys, I wanted to bring you in and let you just see where we're at with the lemony carbonara. And so as you can see, it's boiling. I've lowered the heat even more. They just want you to gently boil until it thickens, and then that's when we'll be at the point to add the rest of the ingredients. So we'll go ahead and get set for the next step. We'll be right back. So guys, we're back. We've got our eggplant. So we're just gonna cut the top of it off, and we're gonna split it down the middle. And then let me bring you to just, you guys, maybe you can see somewhat. Then we're gonna do like a crisscross over our eggplant on front of it. And that's what we're gonna continue to do. Go back and do the next eggplant. Because again, this is just gonna end up roasting in the oven for baba ganoush dip. I may keep some out, and then the rest will go in the freezer to have for a later date. And this will take care of that case of eggplant. So we're just gonna go ahead and continue. I have 2 more eggplants left, so we'll continue to do that. Just go ahead and score them. And then I will spray them with olive oil and season them with a bit of salt and pepper. Put these over here because I'm gonna need to get another pan out. We're gonna get this done. You know, I often say I love being in the kitchen, especially, you know, it helps me to relax, especially when things are going on and this has not been a good week. But I trust God and I believe Him and all that He's doing. You know, we as people, we don't understand a lot of stuff, but I lean not to my own understanding. I have to acknowledge Him in all His ways so that He can direct my path. So we're just gonna make sure that we lean in even harder to God. because I can do nothing without him. All right, so we got these all scored up. So the next thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna get our olive oil and throw these eggplant away. So we get our olive oil, and all we're gonna do is go across and spray the flesh of the eggplant. Just spray the flesh. That all oiled up, and then I'm gonna simply salt and pepper, and then I'm gonna lay them on their face. Let me get my other pan out. And I do apologize for noise, as I say in advance. Let's get some parchment paper on here. I'm gonna set these on here like this right now so that I can come back and hit them with some salt and pepper. Then we'll turn them face down. So I got the salt. Just going with that. Hit it again with the salt. And then we're gonna let them roast face down in the oven. And then when they come out of the oven, we're gonna let them cool. And then we'll scoop out the insides. All right, so we got those seasoned. Let's turn them face down. We'll get them in the oven and let them go for about 30 minutes. See where we're at on the 30-minute mark, how well they've roasted, and then we'll get them out. If they're ready at 30 minutes, we will get them out because all we want is for the flesh to roast down the inside. So we'll go ahead and pop these in the oven. Again, we'll set a 30-minute timer and we'll be back. All right, guys, so we're back. We're ready for the next step. So we need to zest our lemon into our caponata. So let's get that zest. And you know you don't want to zest down to the pit because the pit is bitter. So just zest that in. It says 2 teaspoons, but I'm going to do the whole lemon because, again, I need the recipe doubled with the amount of eggplant I put in. And then obviously we can use this for water later. Okay, so we got that zested in. Now we're going to go in with our olives. It says a 1/3 cup of olives. So again, I doubled it. So I need to make sure that I double the olives, and I love the olives, so this is right up my alley. Let's get the olives in a little cute measuring cup. Okay. And with that, good deal, we're done with that. Next, we need to go in with 2 tablespoons of honey. So let me go ahead and get my measuring spoon with quick spray so that the honey comes out. And actually, it'll be more than 2 tablespoons, it'll be 4. Because we doubled the recipe, I almost forgot. And 1 more. Then next is lemon juice, and it specifically asks for lemon juice from the bottle, so I grab the lemon juice. 4 tablespoons on that. Okay. Now we're going to stir that in. And let it cook a little bit longer, and we'll get our jars ready, and then we'll be ready to get the canning process started. And this will be water bath can, guys. That's why you need the lemon juice, that acidic in there to give you to be able to can. So yeah, and this looks good. All right, so we've got that going. We'll go ahead and get our jars ready, and we shall return to do our lemony carbonara. All right, so we're back, guys, and we're ready to get our carbonara in the jars to get them canned. And again, this is going to be water bath canning process, so it's not, I think I'll get my ladle. Yes, this is going to be water bath canning process, and they'll can for 35 minutes. So of course, carbonara is hot. Jars have been washed and sanitized. So we're getting this in here, like 1/2 inch headspace. And then you're going to put water, obviously, in your canner to cover your jars, because again, it's water bath canning. And we're going to make sure that the water is hot that we're putting in there, because you don't want any instances where possibly it could, your glasses, your jars rather, could break or explode. So you want to make sure the temperature of making sure that they're not cold or hot. You know, if it was cold, then that'd be fine, but you know, this, you want to make sure you're right on point with it. Leaving a 1/2 inch headspace, and then I'll get my debubbler and go in. And it's cooked up pretty nicely. And you can serve this over rice, it can go over pasta, you know, same, however you want to serve it, you know. You can eat it by itself. Add some meat if you want. You know, it's up to you. Got that one. We'll get our last jar done. And then, again, we'll debubble, and then we'll wipe the rims of our jars. And again, you guys know I say this all the time, going on the shelf. This is where this food goes, on the shelf, to have for when you need something to eat. You have something already prepared and ready to go. Okay. So let me grab my debubbler. So we're just going to take this and go inside our jars, and we're, again, debubbling to make sure we don't have any air pockets. Go in each of your jars. I may have to take just a tad bit out of that jar and add to the other jar, yeah. Just going in and simply working it around and debubbling inside the jar. Take just, that spoon is not going to get it. You take a tablespoon and get a bit of this out and add it to the other jar. Okay. Deal. Let me get white vinegar and a paper towel. Got to refill my vinegar, because as you can see, I use vinegar all the time. Like I said, I clean my chicken in vinegar. Vinegar in some of my, you know, homemade processes, and also, you know, using vinegar inside different things for cleaning solutions, as well as using vinegar for fermenting. We use this for fermenting, so I've been trying to do a lot of that lately. So now we're gonna get our lids on our jars. I'm gonna show you what the jars look like. Nice quart size of the lemony carbonara. That, you just want them finger tight. I want to get them on too tight, so just finger tight. We already have our rack inside our canner, so we're going to go ahead and set our jars in here. And I'm using my electric Nesco canner. It pressure cans as well as water bath cans. So we'll get that last one in. Canning is the best way to go. We got water running so that we can make sure that it's over in here. Now we're going to get these jars covered. We have a pot to catch water with, and we'll get the water over in our canner. Turn, so you can see the canner right there. And I have some at the bottom, but now I'm going in because we want to make sure that we just about cover these jars. And you can also, if you have a big pot, use a big pot as long as you have something in the bottom of your pot to keep the cans from clinking and being directly on the bottom of the pot. We're good to go with that way. But since I have this, I just go ahead and do it this way. We got it all full to the desired amount. So now we're going to get our lid down. We're going to lock it. And since we're not pressure canning or water bath canning, all we have to do is the water bath can on, do the amount of time that we're going to set it to, which is going to be 35 minutes. And we're going to start. And there we go. We've got that going. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this bit that I have left, since I ended up doing quart jars. I thought I'd have enough for 2 rounds. I don't have this, probably alongside whatever I'm going to have, for Sunday dinner. So I have some carrots that I'm going to process also, or at least maybe ferment. And while I'm talking about fermentation, this week, I think it was Monday, I had radishes. So I took the radishes and I put them in to ferment. And fermentation is simply, you just take that item, put your seasonings, whatever you want in here, and then you want to make sure that you burp your jars every day. But they begin to get the bubbles and they get the fermentation. I've got a bay leaf in here, and bubble up, and fermenting vegetables is very, very good for you. So I really try to do that. And again, these are radishes. So I'm gonna be excited to see how they taste and come out. I also have apple cider vinegar working here. So we'll be glad to see how that turns out. Okay guys, so we will return here in just a few minutes. All right guys, so we're back and we have the caponata, eggplant caponata, done processing. Here we go, nice bubbles. I'm gonna take it out and set it on our rack. Yes, indeed, they came out beautiful. So we're getting all 4 of those out to go cool and on the shelf. Again, all 4. Looking very good. And so while we were waiting on that to, you know, do its thing, I forgot to turn the camera back on as I did the carrots and got them fermenting. And I put dill in here. I put a hot pepper in here from my garden. And I put garlic in here. And we've got the Himalayan salt. And so we'll begin to let this ferment. And again, when you're fermenting, it depends on what you're looking for, the tartness of it, and all that good stuff. It can ferment a week. You can check it. If it's where you want it to be, you're good to go. You can start eating it, or you can let it go further. And usually I go longer than a week. So I have, again, these carrots that I've done, and they got to stay submerged under that solution in order to be right. Then I also pull the eggplant that we roasted in the oven off of, and I've got that draining in a sieve, and you can see how much liquid has come out of it. And this will turn into the baba ganoush dip, and we'll let it cool, and we will put that in the freezer. So we've done the eggplant caponata, lemony eggplant caponata. We fermented the carrots, and we've gotten the rest of the leftover eggplant, which was a total of 6, ready for baba ganoush. So I think that's a pretty good start to this Saturday. So I appreciate you coming in and joining me in my kitchen. I hope that you all have a fabulous rest of your Saturday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.